Okay, Rabbi Say, we're going to start off. We need some clarity over here. Comes Rosh Hashanah, we're blowing and we're blowing and we're blowing.
Why so many?
Why are we blowing so many coils? So let's actually, before we take a look at the Gemara says that Be'avo was misakin that we should blow 30 koilis on Rosh Hashanah. 30 sounds. In the Torah, we only need to blow 9 sounds. How did you get from 9 to 30?
And then we get from 30
we have to blow 9. 9 is Tekias Shofar, Tekias, 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 Tekias. The Torah said to blow Yoim Trua Yelachem. You should blow Trua. Before the Trua, you should blow Tekias, and after you should blow Tekias. A sandwich, a set. 3 sets. Tekias, Trua, Tekias, Tekias, Tekias. After, because of the Golus and the many Xeris, and it became Sfekas, doubts as to what is the real Trua of the Torah.
Yeah, according to the result, there was that we forgot.
So,
after the by Shiny, we forgot.
The Gemara says, yeah. The Gemara says that the Gemara actually doesn't say why the Bavo said to do 30, but the Rishonim explain that the reason why we do 30 is because there became a suffix as to what is the real Trua of the Torah event. Is a Trua that we call Trua? We call Trua the 9 short sounds, 9 very short sounds. You could add on more than 9, but
12,
9, at least 9. Or is a Trua, when the Torah says Yoim Trua Yelachem, is a Trua 3 Shvarim, which a Shever is longer than a Trua, it's 3 groans. Is Geineach, groaning? Or is it both together? First 3 groans and then
True.
So that's what we have. We blow in order because of the suffix. Bavo want us to blow all of the different types. That means you have to blow each one with a tekiah before and a tekiah after 3 times, because we don't know what the actual trua is. So blow tashrat 3 times means Tekias Shofar and trua. The middle is Shofar and trua because maybe it's both together, and then a tekiah 3 times. Now that's 4 sounds on each set. Tekias Shofar and trua tekiah 4 times is 12. Then you do tarat. You do 2 times. You do shvarim, 3 sets with shvarim in the middle. So you have another 9. So you have now 21. And then you do another 9 of tarat. Trua and tekiah both start off with a taf. You let it off. So to make it simple, we use a reish. The second letter of trua is reish. We say tarat, tekiah, trua, tekiah, tekiah, trua, tekiah, trua. All together 30 sounds.
Why would we do the tekiah in the end?
No, you do.
There's a suffix about shvarim and trua. Tekiah, shvarim, tekiah. Yeah.
But because each trua needs to have a tekiah before and tekiah after. Each one.
Why?
This is what it says in the Torah. Tekiah, trua, tekiah. So each one has to have a tekiah before. Altogether it's 30. This is one thing about Bavo. The Gemara actually doesn't explain, the Bavo doesn't explain why he was massacred 30. But this is what most of the Shainim explain. It is noteworthy to bring down the opinion of Rav Hai Goyin from the Goyinim. Rav Hai Goyin said the reason why we blow, Bavo was massacred to blow Lamet Koilis is not because of a suffix. There never was a suffix in the Masorah of Trua. Every year we're blowing it. It became a suffix suddenly. He held there never was a suffix. It was just, all of them are really kosher. All of these sounds fit the category of Trua min HaTorah. It's just that some communities were blowing like this, some communities are blowing like this. So people, not the Talmidei Chachamim, but people on the ground felt that this became like something like yours is the right one, mine is the right one. This became to be a machloikis. So therefore he wanted that everyone should blow the same. So everyone should blow each other's koilos. Everyone do everyone, and this way everyone's happy. Everyone does everyone. We're all good. So Rav Hai Goin says that all of them you really yotze. There's no suffix. It's just we don't want the Shvi Machloikis, so we want everyone to conform and to be uniform, so everyone does the same. The main opinion is like the other opinion that it's because of a suffix. But there is the opinion of Rav Hai Goin, which is mentioned. It's brought down by Poskim, mentioned this again. Now, we do not only blow 30 koilas, we blow much more than 30 koilas. Originally, and there are still some kehilas which do it, you blow Tekias, we blow 2 times, called Tekias Miyushiv, Tekias Ma'umid. Miyushiv means the sitting Tekias are the ones we blow right after Kriyas HaTorah. With the bracha before. Why are they called Miyushiv? We all are standing, we're not sitting. Because Min Hadin, one is allowed to sit by Tekias. One doesn't have to stand by Tekias. We stand because of Kavod HaTzibur. We all stand. But reality is, you don't have to stand. Only the Baal Tekeya needs to stand. Because it says, Yoim Trua Yir Lachem, it should be a day of a Trua. The word Lachem it says here, and the word Lachem it says by Sfira So'ima or Sfarta Lachem. And by Sfira So'ima we learn out, it says the word Bakoma, we read it Bakoima, that one needs to stand. But this only means that the Baal Tekeya needs to stand. However, this doesn't mean that everyone needs to stand. So therefore, Api Halacha, straight Halacha, one does not need to stand. The minig is we stand. So therefore, those Tekiyas were always called Tekiyas Miyushiv. Why did the Tekiyas later on call Mu'ummad standing Tekiyas? You don't need to stand? The answer is because you're davening Shemoneh Esrei. You're standing. You're Mu'ummad anyways. However, the minig Ashkenaz was, the minig originally was that they only did Tekiyas by Chazaras Hashatz. Only by Chazaras Hashatz, the Shliach Tzibur, would they blow Tekiyas. They wouldn't blow Tekiyas in the Tefillah B'Lachash.
The Ashkenaz today don't.
Ashkenaz still does it today. They only blow by Chazaras Hashatz. This is brought in Shulchan Aruch. This is brought in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch that it was a minig was then to only blow during. He says it's better to blow also by Mu'ummad, by the Tefillah B'Lachash, but you don't have to change the minig. But if you come to a new place where there's no minig yet, the proper minig is to do also by B'Lachash. Now, when they were blowing it only by Tefillas Chazaras Hashatz, why were we calling it Mu'ummad? It's during Chazaras Hashatz. The answer is because there's an opinion which says you're supposed to stand by Chazaras Hashatz.
Yeah.
So the Alter Rebbe writes, interestingly enough, in Hilchas Chazaras Hashatz, when he brings down the opinion that you need that there is a yesh oimrim that you should stand by Chazaras Hashatz, in the parentheses over there he writes, therefore the Tekiyas Mu'ummid are called Mu'ummid because of this opinion. But nowadays, when we also stand, we anyways blow also B'Lachash, so Mamish makes sense why you're calling it Tekiyas Mu'ummid. Because Chazaras Hashatz, not everyone stands. Some people do stand, some people don't stand, because it's not a Chi of Gomer to stand. Now, that's Tekiyas Miyushiv, Tekiyas Mu'ummid. The question is, why are we blowing both? Why are we blowing Miyushiv and why are we blowing Mu'ummid? Rabbi Vo was set to blow 30. So why are we blowing? Let's talk about the original minig, where they blew 30 after Kriyas HaTorah, then they blew an additional 30 again by Chazaras Hashatz. And now what we do is we blow another 30 by Tefillah B'Lachash. So you have 90. And then we add in 10 after Shemoneh Esrei. After Kaddish, we add another 10 to equal up to 100. And that's Al Pi Shulchan Aruch, you should do 100. It's the best minig. And then we do, after we say the whole Tehillim and the last Kaddish, we do another 30 again. So altogether you're blowing 130. Why are you blowing the last 30? Some say we're blowing it to confuse the Satan again, give him some confusion. But the Alter Rebbe and Shulchan Aruch does not bring that reason. He says the reason is in case someone didn't hear properly Tekiyas.
Someone didn't really hear right.
Didn't hear well. But after all these Tekiyas, maybe he still didn't hear. We're very machmir.
You're not Yosef. The one, the Shemoneh Esrei, you're not Yosef, the first one with the bracha.
It's a good idea.
Shabbos Nusach Ashkenaz, they have 100, also 100 koilas. They do it different.
I think they maybe do it after Shemona Esrei. I think so.
You only have to do here 30 years?
30. But the rice is 30.
The women.
When you go to Mitzvah, how many kids you do?
Well,
When you go to
sorry,
Mitzvah.
I did already once.
Yeah,
Once.
you blow only 30.
30, you're right.
30, Minat Torah, the Gemara says 30, and that's why you have to blow 30. Now, Bavo. Bavo was on the second 30 coins. But why did we originally say to blow also by Miyushiv and Me'omet? And which ones are the main ones? The Miyushiv or the Me'omet?
Make any difference? You have to hear it. Doesn't make difference.
Oh, but we want to understand. And also we want to know which one should you have kavanah for it. This year is more of the background. It's not so much going to change the halacha, but in order to get understanding of what's happening, it's good to know the reasons for what we're doing, different minhagim. Now, the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, Daf Lamed Beis Amud Beis, only brings down they used to blow one time, one set of Tekias, one set of 30. When did they do it? So the Mishnah says, it's not on the paper, the Mishnah. One who davens before the Teva, before the Amud, the Chazan, beyond the Rosh Hashanah. So we're going to discuss who should say Hallel and who should say Hallel. We don't say in Rosh Hashanah, but in cases when we generally say Hallel, when should Hallel be said? Shachris, should the Baal Shachris say Hallel, or the Chazan by Musaf should say Hallel? And by Rosh Hashanah, who should blow? Shachris should we blow, or Musaf should we blow? Meaning during the Shemona Esrei of Shachris or during the Shemona Esrei of Musaf. So beyond the Shoshana Hasheni Maskia. The second one, meaning by Musaf, we should blow a shofar. That's all. There was no morning Tekiyas, just by Musaf. Or B'shas Hallel, in days when we would say Hallel, we don't say Hallel on Rosh Hashanah, but in days that you do say Hallel, B'shas Hallel, this is actually from this mission, we learn out that we don't say Hallel on Rosh Hashanah, because it says B'shas Hallel. In those times when you do say Hallel, Rosh Hashanah we don't say Hallel because the Sifrei HaChaim, the Sifrei HaMeisim Pasuchim Lefonav, the books of life and death are open for Hashem. It's not a time to just singing
Hallel.
around, jumping and saying Hallel. It's not a time of Shira. This is a little bit more serious. We don't say Hallel. So B'shas HaHallel, Harishim Makis Hallel. The days that we do say Hallel, the Shrishin says like we do. The Chazan after Musaf says Hallel by Shachas.
After Shabbos.
After Shachas. Now the Maisa is, the Shaila is, why is there a differentiation between by Tekias and Hallel? Either they should both be by Musaf, or both be said by the Chazan Shachas. Tekias would be in middle of Shemona Esrei, and by Hallel we're talking about after. But either way, should the Chazan in the morning, Chazan, why are we making a split? So the Gemara asks this question. The Gemara says, why are you telling me that the second one should blow Tekias Shofar? L'choram is probably because there's a klal, the Roiv Am Hadas Melech. The Roiv Am, the more people you have when you do a mitzvah, it brings a Hadrat Melech, it brings a kavod for Hashem. So people, it takes time for people to gather. Some people come later to shul. By Musaf, it's getting closer to Kiddush time, it's usually more packed in shul. It's probably, we see this in a lot of shuls, the minig is, some people take their time as they get in. It's a process. Some people coming 8, 7, then it's come and go along. So by the time it comes to Musaf, it's a bigger crowd. So that's was probably why Tekias Shofar we blow by Musaf, because then it's a bigger oilam. B'roiv Am Hadrat Melech. However, says the Gemara, if so Hallel, we should do the same thing. Saying Hallel is a mitzvah of Hallel, we should also wait till later to have B'roiv Am Hadrat Melech. So what are you going to answer me? You're going to tell me Hallel we do earlier because reason Makdim la mitzvahs. Yeah, B'roiv Am Hadrat Melech, but on the other hand, you have the concept of as risen is Makdim la mitzvahs. You do it earlier, so you do Hallel and Shachas. So if you hold this risen, you should also do Tekias Shofar earlier. If you hold risen overweighs B'roiv Am Hadrat Melech, earlier is better than later with a bigger crowd. So do both earlier. So which way are we going? So says the Gemara, you're right. Really, Zrizim Makdim la mitzvahs. Just like Hallel we do in the morning because it's reason, Shofar we should do in the morning. Why don't we do it in the morning? Says the Gemara, 4 words. B'shas gzeiras hamalchus shana. This Mishnah was said during the times of a gzeiras hamalchus. What does that mean? Rashi says that meant we had enemies that did not allow us to blow shofar. They made a gzeira against the mitzvah Tekias Shofar. And they used to watch us for 6 hours, the whole entire Shachris. They would have people watching,
Make sure
and the scouts in the shul, make sure we don't blow. After that, they went home. So therefore, they were masakin to blow by Musaf.
later.
Comes out really in the beginning, we used to do in Shachris. Tekias was in Shachris. Zvizim Akdibul Mitzvahs like Halal. Elamai, there was a gzeira, so we push off later. Toises explains even more, it explains nicer. It's a more geschmack appears. The poskim, when we bring down Toises, say Toises is more, is nicer. Toises says, first of all, Toises says, the Gemara says that this Mishnah was taught when there was a Gzeirus HaMalchus. And that's why you do it during Musaf. Seems to be that if there would be no Gzeirus HaMalchus, we'd go back to the original thing, Shabbos. We don't do that anymore. Says the Toisves, even though the Gzeirus HaMalchus Batla, it just stayed the same. This became the minig for so many years, that's the way it was, and we're not going to go around changing it. Even though it's really is reason like the mitzvah, but this is the minig, and that became the minig.
It took any time with the Roman, Gzerat HaMalchut?
Most probably, I'm not sure, but the times of the Mishnah,
Yeah, probably.
yeah. Now, we're going step by step. We don't know yet why we blow twice. We're just figuring out when they originally blew. So they originally blew Shachris, Shmoneh, then it moved to Musaf. Now the Tosis brings a Gemara Yerushalmi. The Gemara Yerushalmi explains more about what this Gzeiras HaMalchus is about. Really, they weren't against, according to the Yerushalmi, differently than Rashi, they weren't against the mitzvah of Tekias Shofar. However, they were worried the Jewish people are going to shul and suddenly they start taking out their trumpets and their shofar, they're all blowing sounds. It sounds like they're making a rebellion. They're making a rebellion. So that year, they right away came in and they squashed the rebellion. They started killing out Jewish people. Making a rally call for a war over here. So that became a problem. So they moved it over to Musaf, because by the time it came Musaf time, they saw we're davening, we have Kriyas HaTorah and everything. So by the time it came Musaf, they realized it's nothing to do with the Muhammad. It's because we're davening. It's tefillah, they see a whole day we're davening. So therefore, they left us alone. Now, I want to explain, when we said over here originally we used to daven Shachris, we have a shtickle problem with this. Where is a special tefillah Rosh Hashanah? By Musaf. By Musaf we say, by Rosh Hashanah in the morning and by every Yom Tov we say 7 brachas. The 3 first brachas and the 3 last brachas that we do a whole year long. Right? Magin Avram, Chayim Mesim, Ata Kodesh, Kela Kodesh, Hamelech HaKodesh. And then the last 3, we do Sechzena, and we do Moedim, and we do Sim Shalom. Those, then we have one middle, like Shabbos and Yom Tov, we put a middle bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem Mekadosh HaShabbos and Shabbos. And Yom Tov we say Mekadosh Yisroel Bazman, and that's the ending of the middle bracha. We had it, Al B'Yovei and everything else. Musaf Rosh Hashanah is special. We do 9 brachas. We have 3 middle brachas, 3 new middle brachas. Now we only say Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur during the times of Yovel. The Yom Kippur of the year of Yovel, they used to also say it. Now, what do we say during the Musaf of Rosh Hashanah? We say 3 brachas called Malchiyos, Zechronos, and Shofars. Malchus means we say psukim. At least we say 10 psukim that discuss how Hashem is the Melech. And Hashem rules over the world. Melucha, Melech, Malchiot. Zechronos means how Hashem remembers us, remembers the people, remembers mankind, and has a zeicher of us. We try to bring up our memory before Hashem. And Shofar, so read psukim that talk about Shofar. V'hoya b'yemahu yitaka b'Shofar Gadol. All the psukim that we can find in the Nevi'im that talk about Shofar, we mention over there. And we mention psukim in each one. The brachas, we bring psukim for all the 3 parts of Torah. from Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, and Ksuvim. That's what we do. Now, when we say over here, now what do we do during Musaf? We blow Tekias at the ending of each bracha. Both in our quiet Shemoneh Esrei and in the Shliach Tzibur Shemoneh Esrei, we blow shofars at the ending of each bracha. We say Baruch Atah Hashem, and we blow the bracha Melech HaKol Yisrael. We blow the bracha in each one. Malchi Zechar Shemitz. When we say that before the Gzeira, they used to blow in the morning. In the morning, you don't have 9 brachas. So what does that mean? They're blowing in the morning. When are you going to blow? So explains the Ran, one of the Rishonim in the back of the Gemara, Rabbeinu Nissim. And Nissim says, Pshat over here, when we say that before the Gzeira, they blow by Shachris, it meant that they used to do these 3 brachas in Shachris, not in Musaf. They would do 7 during Musaf, and these 3 brachas were during Shachris. After there was a Gzeira, we moved not only the Tekias to Musaf, but we moved the 3 middle brachas to Musaf. So now everything makes sense. We still have to figure out how did we get to the Tekias, additional Tekias that we do before, but after Kriyas HaTorah, before Musaf.
With a bracha.
With a bracha.
That's the bracha. That's what we mean.
So the bracha, yeah. With this bracha, we also do brachas there, but different types of brachas. Malchi is a kind of shofars. But the bracha, Shekichalot Hezvano, the Shmaya Kol Shofar, we only do in the morning after Kriyas HaTorah.
And this is Yosef with the whole bracha.
All the brachas, yes. That's why we actually don't talk in between. We don't want to make a hefsek. If someone needs to, you could talk something that has to do with tefillah or with the tkiyas, but not to talk other things. If someone did talk, it's still the bracha still. You don't have to make a bracha again, and the bracha still helps. It still helps to be from there to there. It still goes on all the tkiyas. We could explain later on the shir mitzvah at the ending, understand how that works. Now, we don't have to not talk, by the way, till all 130. Only the first 100. Means after we finish Chazaras Hashatz of Musaf, we say a Kaddish, we blow 10 more sounds to bring up the number to 30 before, 30 during Lachash, 30 during now. We bring another 10. After that, you can talk. You don't have to wait till after you're the last 30. Now, how did we get to the Tekias de Miyushiv? Where did that come from? There's another Gemara. Until now we read a Mishnah. And a Gemara that explained the Mishnah. But there is a Gemara which explains that later on an additional change happened. We started to blow Tekias Miyushiv. The Gemara says, I have it over here on note base, C and base.
Exactly what it's trying to do.
I don't have the entire Gemara here, but the Gemara says that the Gemara asks like this. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak said, Lama toikim Rosh Hashanah. Why do we blow Rosh Hashanah? So ask the Gemara, what type of shaylas why do we blow? Arachmana Amar Tiku, the Torah said to blow. We blow. Elalama Marian, Rabbi Yitzchak was asking, why do we blow Truas, Marian? Again, Marian? Rachmana Amar, Zichron Truah, the Torah tells us Zichron Truah, you should blow a Truah. That's what we do it. Ella says, we can see inside, Alama Toikin Marian Kishen Yoshvin. Why do we see that the minig is we blow Tekias and Truas when we sit? That's the Tekias to Miyusha, which originally they would sit by. Api Halacha, you're allowed to sit by the first Tekias. And why Toikim Ikshanamdin? And why do we also blow again a second time Tekias and Truas while we stand by Tekias to Mohammed? Why do we blow twice? And the Mishnah doesn't say to blow twice. Kidei la'arvav ha'satan, to confuse the satan. So it seems to be, this is my own pshat, that later on in history the satan was getting stronger, and the Chazal saw we need to confuse him, because during the times of the Mishnah we didn't do this. So what's pshat? Times got along, Chacham and see in each generation what's necessary. We have to confuse the Satan. He's figuring out the tricks of the trade. We have to make him some confusion.
Why can't we say they didn't have a Satan and we have a Satan?
We became Shvacher.
Was that stupid?
A bigger, stronger Satan. He became starker.
Satan is so stupid.
Till our days?
The shaila that you're asking There's an interesting sikh of the Rebbe about it.
Oh yeah, then.
The Satan doesn't know. Everyone knows Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, you're fooling him.
You're gonna fool him. He can't look at the calendar. He's a malach. The Satan's a malach. He's a malach hamavas. He knows. He's not that was. He's an old guy. He's zakon uksil. So Lamaisa, with the Rebbe point, I'm not gonna get into it. This also has to do with Elul, by the way. We don't blow Erev Rosh Hashanah because we won't want to confuse. One of the reasons is, one reason is given, we want to separate Elul from Rosh Hashanah. Elul is only a minute, and Rosh Hashanah is Minat Torah. So we want to make a split between the skis, so we stop a day. But that's not the Alter Rebbe's reason. The main reason is because we want to confuse the Satan. Oh, they stopped blowing. Probably means Rosh Hashanah was already. So what's going on over here? Again, we're trying. Another thing, why don't we blow? We don't. This Shabbos is going to be Shabbos Mevarchim, Rosh Hashanah. We don't go. We're not Mekadosh the Chodesh.
Kodesh Baruch Hu.
But why? This Apich said this. We have an explanation. But Apich Nigel, why? Because we want to confuse him. He should know what Rosh Hashanah is. So we don't. We decide when Rosh Hashanah is. So we don't get up and make an announcement in the shul when it's Rosh Hashanah. He doesn't know. So all of these things that we're doing, what does it mean? So B'Kitzer, it's not the topic of this year, but the Rebbe says, of course, he knows when it's Rosh Hashanah. The point is, similar to what Rashi explains over here. Rashi says, what does it mean we're confusing the Satan? Rashi, this Gemara says, when he sees, when the Satan sees that we blow twice, I mean, we do much more than we have to. We blow, and we want a good year, and we blow again. So he sees that we are mechavev the mitzvahs. So the Satan has no more of a mouth to open to mekatrig against Klal Yisrael. What's he going to say? Hashem, your Jews are bad. What can he say? Look at them. Say, of course he knows the Rosh Hashanah, but the fact he can't change the fact. The fact is he sees that we are doing beyond what we need to do. We're going extra. So he becomes he becomes confused. He doesn't have the mouth to open. He feels weak. That's Rashi's pshat. Toysus brings from the Sefer Aruch, one of the early Rishonim, Ibn Nassim. Now he said pshat lazoi. We know. We know when Mashiach is going to come, it's going to be a big shofar blow. What's happening? When Mashiach comes, Bila HaMavis L'Netzach, is not going to be any more Mavis. So the Malach HaMavis is gone. The Satan, Hu HaSatan, Hu HaMalach HaMavis is gone. So he's over with. It's Yom HaMisa for him.
Yeah, he thinks Mashiach, he knows when Mashiach comes, he's finished.
He's going to hear the sound of the shofar.
Get upset.
So
scared.
He's going to start getting a little bit masupik. Is this the real shofar of Mashiach, and not the shofar of Mashiach? That's the first set of Tekias. Then he hears it again. So now he's already totally confused, and he can't anymore have any time to think about what to be mekatrig because he's worried about himself. But the Rebbe by the Nesicha again, he asks the Shaila even over here, he doesn't know that's not the shofar Mashiach. So he brings a pirush, a different pshat. This is what it says in Tosfos. But he said a different pirush from another Rishon that says, of course he knows it's not the shofar Mashiach. But the fact of the matter is, when someone reminds you about the day of your death, it's scary, yeah? It's something... the Gemara says you want to stop someone from doing an Aveda, you want to stop yourself, Yaskilu Yem HaMisa. Remind the person, remind yourself about the day of Misa. What's it going to be worth your Aveda? You know, every day everyone goes in the same place. If you have a big Amunah Mashiach, remember that Mashiach is going to come. So the Satan knows this is not the Tekias Shofar of La'asalav, Mashiach. But still in all, hearing the sound, this is bothers him a lot. He hears it again and again, and he knows this reminds him that his time is, that this is what happened. You know, so just thinking about the Misa, it already gets him off balance. He doesn't have the track. Anyways, l'maisa, you have to know the Satan, you have to know how the inner workings, how things work.
It's very old Satan. Every year is the same thing.
No.
Another pshat is, now, l'maisa, according to both of these pshatim, it comes out that he only gets confused by the time we start Musaf, start blowing the second time. Rashi says when he sees us doing it twice, so it shows how much we have such chavivos. But and also look at that doesn't also with Rashi on the sea. Yes, he knows that you're blowing tekias and everything, but he probably sees you b'mahad mitzvahs. And even according to Isis, who says from the Aruch that he's going to hear the second, it's only the second time that he really gets confused because he thinks he's Shia. But there's another pshat in Rishonim that before he gets confused from the actual tekiyas before, and so therefore by the time it comes Musaf, he's not able to be mekatrik during Musaf as the main tefillah in Rosh Hashanah. It's a similar thing, this Pirush. It's just a little different twist, that he's just, the Musaf is the time when we really daven, special brachas and everything. So we don't want the Satan to be mekatrik during our davening. Our davening should be pure. So we need to get rid of the Satan. So we ma'arviv him before, with the tekiyas before. However, we're somehow confusing him with these tekiyas. And therefore, by the time we have tefillah, he's not able to be mekatrik. So l'maisa, because kidei la'arav satan, we blow twice, tekiyas miyushiv and tekiyas. And this is the seder hishtalshus.
I think the reason we do me'omed, standing even miyushiv, right in the beginning, because when you stand up, you're more trembling, you're more kavanah.
Yeah.
That's the reason we're standing.
That's
See,
could be
now
also
the
another
shofar
reason.
is a little bit shvat.
Yeah, that's what it means. Covered. You have to covet for the mitzvah. You have to show some feeling for the mitzvah. You have to present yourself. By the Chassidim, by the Litvisha, they make a kiddush before.
Between. We don't eat.
Oh, yeah?
No, not between.
No, before.
What was it?
After
Shabbos
Kriyas
the
HaTorah,
What is the...
before Kriyas,
After Kriyas HaTorah, they make kiddush. It's not just lit.
there's a big shiloh, making a big suda before a mitzvah in HaTorah, right?
Yeah, but can't.
So the Chassidim, they have a time and we eat mezainis the whole year. But the Snagin do it with Rosh Hashanah. Litvi should do Rosh Hashanah before Tekias, which is the biggest shiloh because it's a mitzvah in HaTorah. A very big shiloh. And listen, they're doing it as a minyan all together, so you can say no one's gonna. They all remind themselves to go. Let's Tekias. The Maisa by they say, I heard Rabbi Salveitchik al Shalom from Yeshiva University. He used to tell over that his father was a rav in a Chassidish city. His father was a real litvak. You can't get more. Real dry Rambam halach, and that's it. There's no Chassidish shtick over here. No Chassidish maises. But he was a rav in a shul in the city, which was Chassidim there. Some people say it's hard to verify these stories, but that's how he said it over. I don't know if he remembered exactly. He remembered from his childhood years. Some people say that the city was really a Litvish city, but that's the way he said it over. I'm just saying the way he said it over was that the Chassidish city was a Chabad city. And his father, why was his father the Rav there? How did it come that they took an Lubavitch Rav? Because his father, the Alter Rebbe ran away from Napoleon. It was known as during the war between France and Russia, the big tzaddikim took different sides as to which one should win. And the Alter Rebbe took the side of Napoleon, of the Tsar.
He was against Napoleon.
But the Napoleon, other tzaddikim, went with the side, the Kajitz Magid and the Mendel Rimmenever. Other big tzaddikim took the other side of the French. They say that Mendel Rimmenever, when he was putting in the matzahs into the oven at a Pesach, so every time he put in another shovel into the oven, He set another 500 Russian soldiers into the oven. Another, all different kavanas that tzaddikim were having. But he had a Talmud, the Ravchitzer, that he held. He felt he was a Talmud Chaver. He understood, and he came to try to confuse his Rebbe, the kavanas, to get him to stop. The Maisa, the Alter Rebbe, not only Beruchnius was pushing for the Tsar should win, but he even sent one of his Chassidim, Moshe Meilish, to be a spy. There's a bunch of stories about that, to be a spy. He knew a lot of languages, and he should be a spy and help spy by Napoleon. This is a very interesting phenomenon. There's a letter from the Mittel Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe's son, after the Histalkus of the Alter Rebbe. It's a very key piece of evidence, where he writes a very long letter describing the whole trip. What happened was that the Alter Rebbe, Napoleon was winning, was going deep into Russia, and he knew who his enemies were and who was with him and who was not with him. And he knew that the Alter Rebbe was not with him, so the Alter Rebbe had to flee. And when the Alter Rebbe was fleeing, Napoleon, the soldiers were chasing him. So, way Rabbi Soloveitchik said it over was that he came to a certain city, and the soldiers surrounded the city, and he had to have a place to hide. So the Chassidim he wanted to go to the Rav of the city. The Rav was from the Misnagdim, was against the Chassidim, and Misnagdim then were real Misnagdim, not like today. So it was a real. So the Chassidim said, "You're not going to go hide by him. He'll turn you into Napoleon." The Rebbe said, "No, he's not going to turn me in." He went to the Rav Taka hit him, and they knew that there's big fighting, internal fighting between the Yidden. So they knew if the Rav said he's not there, he's not there. That's the way. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe said that from now on, in this city should only be Rabbanim from the Talmidim of the Vilna Gaon. We don't have such a tradition of any such story, but this is Rabbi Soloveitchik said over that he.
Eastern Europe, all the Rabbanim were Misnagdim, and the Sheikhim were Chassidim.
Yeah, always when there was a machloi, the rule was that the Rabbeim always said. In the city there was always a machlokes, because in the beginning Chassidim started off, there was only one community, one kehila, one shul, one nusach, and it was very understandable. There was a machlokes, a lot of the children, everyone going off to Chassidim, and they're want to open up their own minyan, their own nusach, and it became a whole big thing. Eventually they became separate shuls, and it became separate kehillah, separate shuls. Well, my shiloh was, what do you do with the Rav, with the Shoichet? So the Rebbeim said, it doesn't make it, the Rav could be from the Misnagdim. The Shoichet, we should put our foot on the Shoichet, should be from the Chassidim.
Why?
Because that's what you're eating, and that's the sakir, the special knives that the Alter Rebbe wanted, and the Shemayim.
Oh, that's why.
What you're eating, Shemayim, the Rav, you could ask someone else to shayle, and the Rav anyways, he could tell you halacha, the Rav could tell you halacha, halacha is halacha. L'maiseh, so that's how he explained why his father became the Rav in the city. So he said when he grew up, he remembers how the Chassidim would always cry, and it was always big dveikus by davening Rosh Hashanah. Chassidim would daven for hours, and his father, the Chassidim would be davening away, and his father, by Chazaras Hashatz, the Chassidim were saying all the piyutim and everything, so he would sit down and open up his Rambam, to learn some Rambam. So he asked the Chassidim, why do you guys all cry so much by Shofar? You get all emotional. When you take a lulav and Esther, you're also crying. You do any other, it's just a mitzvah like all other mitzvahs in the Torah. What does it say in the Torah? This mitzvah is different. The Chapi Chassidus, and Api Kabbalah and everything. It's such a special mitzvah to Tekias Shofar. You're making the Eibishter Melech, and the of Tshuva and everything else. But if you just come with a very dry outlook to say, it's a mitzvah like all the mitzvahs say, you have tayeg mitzvahs. You're suddenly crying every time you do a mitzvah, you get so serious. But he understood, not like his father. He already had the Chassidus Shema. Why? Because he said that he had a Chassidus Melamed. Because he was in a Chassidus city, he grew up. So the Melamed was a Chassid. So Melamed, he said the Melamed would secretly teach them Tanya. They were not supposed to teach Tanya. His father was the Rav of the city. He came once in a while to test them, to fahed them. So if you would see the father coming, they have to quickly put away the Tanya and open it, and make sure they knew the Gemara, because they're going to test. And one time his father brought him to Brisk, to his Zayda, to Reb Chaim Brisker, And he started testing Gemara. Instead of Gemara, he started coming out of his mouth Tanya. So his father was very embarrassed. Bringing him to see his father gave him a patch. What's going on over here? Lamaisi, he says, thanks to that chassid, to that Malamed, where he got his feeling for Chassidus and for Chassidus Shofar. And that's why he used to always talk about that anyone who doesn't learn the Likutei Torah about Rosh Hashanah doesn't know what Rosh Hashanah is about. He used to say that the Chassidim, he remembers them saying, they call Rosh Hashanah night the Koronatsia Nacht, meaning the coronation night, where we make the Eibishter king. We have to be mevatel ourselves and make the king. The Eibishter Melech. We kabel the Eibishter's Malchus on ourselves. So that's what's given. Anyway, so the Maisa, I don't know how we got there.
Let's go back here.
We have to go to Meider. So the Maisa, that's we daven we Yushiv for the Arva Satan. Now, next week in Rid Hashem we'll talk which ones are the main ones. The Gemara says, La'arva Satan, we blow Miyushiv and blow Moed. It doesn't say clearly which ones are the ones which are La'arva Satan. Which ones are the ones confused, which ones are the Iker. Pashas, you would think, since originally we used to always blow by Musaf, but since after the Gzeres HaMalchus, from the times of the Mishnah, we're blowing by Musaf. So when the Gemara says La'arva Satan, you blow before, to confuse that, L'chora means before. And according to some of the explanations we said over here, it's tafke before to confuse it. But Lamaisa will see that it's not so posh. Some Rishonim say, the Gemara doesn't say clearly which ones are to confuse. They say no. The first ones are the main ones, the second one's La'arva. There's three different opinions of how you look at the situation. And there's a little bit of a contradiction where a lot of the Rishonim and Poskim are saying, on one hand, they say the second ones are the Iker, and which makes sense. On the other hand, in other places, they say that the first ones are Yotzim and Torah. The shaila is, how do we put these two together? If this is the Iker, that's the Iker. So next week we'll go more about Ichas.
Next week is Rosh Hashanah.
Wait, after Rosh Hashanah?
Next week is Rosh Hashanah.
That's right. Lamaisa, let's say the halacha lamaisa. Halacha lamaisa is the first ones are la'arva satan, and the second ones are the original ones. However, we still are yoitzim in our Torah with the first ones. Even though originally the ikar takana was to say to blow shofar during Musaf, because that's when you had the three brachas. Before the Gzeres HaMalchus, they had those the 9 brachas were in the shachas. But now we only do, we moved it to Musaf, the brachas and the Tekias, because of the Gzeres HaMalchus. It stayed there. And later on they started to blow before La'arv Asatan. So you would think the second ones are the Iker, and some people take a hold that way. But halacha l'maisa, asking the halacha l'maisa is that we're yoitza the first ones, minat Torah. That's why the women and everyone come to shul to hear the first ones. If they want to come to shul to hear, they hear the first 30, and then they can go home. And the second ones, one could be more lenient with, because we're yoitza minat Torah. The shaila is, why did Chacham do it like this? L'chora, we should be yoitza minat Torah, the second ones, those are the original ones, those are the ones we're saying on the order of the brachas. So why are we being yoitza minat Torah by the first ones, which are only veer, were only made originally just in order to confuse the Satan? But once we say it already, mitama, we're all being yoitza with these. So you could say, once we do it, even though originally the takana was in order to confuse the Satan, but once we do it already, so you heard it, you yoitza. But that's not really a good enough answer, because those Rishonim and Poskim that hold the yoitza only during the second minat Torah, even today, they say a very good reason, very good svara. Their logic is, the halacha is, when it comes to a mitzvah minat Torah, mitzvah srichis kavana. Mitzvahs need to have kavanah. So if I have in mind, if we know the second one is the main one, even though I'm blowing first and I'm hearing Tekias, but that's only the Arva Satan. So really I should only be yotzim in Torah by the second one. Alter Rebbe explains like this. Again, by the time what happened was they were blowing by Musaf already. We wanted to confuse the Satan, so we started blowing before. What happened over here? The Alter Rebbe explains in one line, which I haven't seen anyone else say this explanation. It's a very nice explanation, which sheds light to the whole sugya. What happened over here? During Musaf, we were doing two things. Up until the takana of Rabbi Yitzchak, Ava Satan, in Musaf we were being yoytze two things. We were doing a mitzvah min ha-Torah, a blowing Tekias, which didn't have to be on the order of the brachas. We could have done it without brachas. And the Torah doesn't say to say the brachas and malchis by the shofars during Musaf. Doesn't say it in the Torah. So we were yoytze min ha-Torah without the brachas. So one thing is we're yoytze mitzvah min ha-Torah. Number two, we're being yoytze atakonas chachamim. The Chazal wanted us to say it on the brachas of malchis, suchayis, and shofars. So we're being yoytze mitzvah min ha-Torah and atakona of chachamim. But now came along Rabbi Yitzchak and says we need to blow more tkis earlier. So what should we do? One approach is create a new. Chazal could say we're going to leave the tkis the way they are. The tkis min ha-Torah by Musaf. Create a new takanas chachamim in the morning, but from a yushiv, a new takanas chachamim l'Aris. But then what would come out? We know what would be the issue. Okay, it would be yoytze min ha-Torah like we always did. Makes sense. Be yoytze min ha-Torah like you always did during Musaf. Well, the chura the vart is in order that Chachamim did not want to have to create a new takana. We already have by Musaf, we're doing 2 in 1. We're yoytze mitzvah min ha-Torah, blowing the tkiyas, and then we're also doing them on the seder of the brachas of Musaf, which is a mitzvah midrabanan. So instead of us creating a new takana to blow miyushiv earlier, let's split up these two that we're doing in Musaf. Split them up to do them at different times. Take the min ha-Torah, the mitzvah min ha-Torah that we are being yoytze in Musaf, that we're always traditionally yoytze in Musaf, move it earlier. In order to be ma'ariv the Satan that during Musaf, when we're davening Musaf, you should come confused, take these tkiyas min ha-Torah, remove them out, move them from Chazaras, move them from Musaf, and do them earlier, and do them min ha-Torah earlier, and keep the tkiyas midrabanan by Musaf. I mean, don't create any new takanas here. Just split them up, divide them. Don't keep them together during Musaf. Do the mitzvah min ha-Torah earlier, and the mitzvah midrabanan stays. That this way we do the mitzvah min ha-Torah, and thereby we did it min ha-Torah, and we're also gaining, we're confusing the Satan. And still, Chazal wanted us to hear Tekias on the Seder of the Brachas. So keep it by Musaf, where we hear Tekias on Musaf. Chazal wanted us to hear Tekias with the Brachas. That's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. So we keep that in place during Musaf. So this way, we didn't create anything new. Chazal merely just split up between the Musaf. We were doing 2 in 1. We were doing Tekias min ha-Torah and midrabanan 1. Split it up. So therefore, this that we're being yoytze min ha-Torah in the morning is not Epsa b'di'evet. That's the way it's set up. Chachamim set it up that because we want to be married to Satan, we're moving the min ha-Torah tkiyas to the morning. So that's why our kavana is that we yoytze the min ha-Torah in the morning after Kriyas ha-Torah. We say l'shmaya kol shofar, we say shechianu, and we blow in the morning. But since the mitzvah of Musaf, the tkiyas of Musaf, tkiyas the moment is midrabanan, and it's like as if it really used to be one. It used to all be a Musaf. We split one mitzvah, we split one thing into 2. So therefore it's really like one long mitzvah. The halach is when you have one long mitzvah, you're allowed to talk in the middle when it's one long mitzvah. When Lamasha, you're sitting in the sukkah, you say Leisha Basukkah, you could talk in the middle. How come you can't talk in the middle over here? It's also like one mitzvah. The Rebbe explains, Taka, it's really one mitzvah. Originally one mitzvah. This whole mitzvah min ha-Torah, midrabanan, it's a midrabanan of a min ha-Torah mitzvah. It's all part of one thing, one mitzvah. However, it seems to be 2 mitzvahs. Since it seems to be 2 mitzvahs, it's right not to talk. Because the halach is when you're doing 2 mitzvahs, and you're saying a bracha, and you're trying to be yoytze 2 mitzvahs, 1 bracha, you're not supposed to talk in between, because the bracha that you said before the first mitzvah should go also on the second.
Like,
even though we hear it really is one mitzvah achas, But since it's nearing Kishtei mitzvahs, it seems like it's two mitzvahs, because we split them up, the way we did. Therefore, it's right not to talk. But if someone did, the bracha still helps, even if he talks some sichas chulin that had no shaykhis between the Tekias and Tefillah, the bracha on Miyushiv still is chal on Ma'umid, because it's one long mitzvah. Jeder ist aber ein Ksivach, sie mit Teuven, ein gut gemensch, ja.